Everybody, it's Sasha, your market expert here in Charlotte. It's been, I don't know, it's been about 2 months since I've done a live, but we're going to go back at this every first Thursday of the month. We're going to be going live because I want to answer all your questions. There's a lot of people out there for one reason or another that might be hesitant to reach out to me and things like that. So I want these lives to be here in order to help answer any questions that you may have about real estate, Charlotte, some of the surrounding areas in Charlotte, and anything that you possibly might need. I know some people are, 6 months out, a year out, a couple years out. I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, we're moving to Charlotte in 2024. We just wanted to reach out to you now and, get a couple answers for some things that we've been thinking about. So that's what these lives are here for. So do me a favor, if there's anything I can ever do for you, any questions I can answer for you, call, text, or email me anytime. All my contact information is linked down below. And I recently started a new Instagram, and that is QCHomeGroup. So follow me on there. I'm going to be posting a little bit more tidbits. It's not going to be long stuff like this. But if you're in the chat right now, guys, feel free to, ask me any questions you have about anything, the real estate market, Charlotte, its surrounding areas, and whatever the case is. Funny enough, I got to the office today and, there's a bunch of these koozies for this company that I have no idea about. And I've always wondered, like, why do people market with koozies? But now I don't even know this company, but we'll just market with them. So feel free to fire away any questions whatsoever you might have. I'd love to help you in any way that I possibly can, and hopefully we'll get some people. I'll probably be on here for an hour or so, depending on some of your questions and things like that. So as I mentioned, feel free to fire away. I will be condensing this, so there's not going to be a lot of ums and buts and things like that when I re-upload it. So I'll answer all this, and then I'll be re-uploading it the following week. I just got done with some showings. Our office is located right off of exit 57, where Providence Crossing is, which is one of Charlotte's best neighborhoods, if not the #1 neighborhood. I actually made a video on it not too long ago. So I was showing a bunch of houses around here, and man, the market is so much different than it was before. It's just, before everything was so hyper focused. You needed to rush to do everything. Sometimes it was like, felt almost impossible to even schedule a showing, because as soon as something came on the market, people were just scheduling things right away. But now the fact that I can, get in and see a home, the fact that a home's been sitting for a couple days, a couple weeks, and the schedule's wide open, it's just so much better. I'm able to actually have conversations with the seller's agents. And it's just, it's not like, oh, hey, we submitted an offer 40,000 above ask, and I don't even get a call back. It's a lot different now, which I'm very happy and I'm excited about, because there's so many buyers out there that are going to take advantage of this right now. There's so many buyers out there that are going to take advantage of what we have going on right now. Some sellers, even in some public remarks that they're putting out there, is like, bring us an offer. There's no offer too low, things like that. And I don't want to say it, but, it sounds desperate. Some of them aren't, but, it could be a good opportunity, whether it's 10,000 below the asking price, whether it's 50,000 below the asking price. A home is only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And some sellers are learning that very quickly now when they're putting these houses on the market at these prices that nobody's going to pay for. You're putting a house on the market for top dollar, but the kitchen needs renovated, the bathrooms need renovated, the roof is 25 years old, AC unit is, close to 20 years old, and things like that. It's just not cutting it anymore. Before, 8+ months ago, I was so surprised at some of these houses that were hitting the market and selling quickly. It was just kind of astonishing, and then I got to the point where these houses, these ugly houses, whatever you want to call them, they would come up and I'd be like, yeah, it'll probably sell. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, based off the other stuff that I've been seeing. So it's just, it's so interesting. I can finally breathe now. Some of my sellers and buyers, because don't get it wrong, it still is a seller's market for the nice houses. People will always want nice houses. just the houses that, built in 1990 haven't been touched since 1990, since they were first built. They're gonna have some issues, and the prices need to come down to something more realistic. And what's realistic is what a buyer's willing to pay for it. All right, we'll save that for later. Do you know anyone who's renting apartments or rooms in the Charlotte metropolitan area of Charlotte? So what I would recommend, now anybody that's looking to rent, if you're looking for subleases, if you're looking for a potential roommate, there are Charlotte real estate groups out there. I forgot what the one group is called. It's on Facebook. I think it's Charlotte Apartments, Sublets, Condos for Rent. Go on that Facebook group, and there are a ton of people daily posting that they're looking for a roommate. They're subleasing their current place that they have. So it's the best place. Craigslist and things like that is great too. It can be a little bit sketchier at times. So if you have a Facebook, go on the Facebook group. I believe it's Charlotte Apartments for Rent, Sublets, something like that, and you'll see a bunch of listings on there. You can even go on the search bar in there and type in if you're looking for a specific area. For example, if you type in South Park, all the recent and past posts about South Park, about somebody looking for a roommate in South Park, about South Park condos being available, will come up. The people will leave their phone number and just reach out to them. So Miss Beauty, that is what I recommend you do. That's kind of the best thing to do. Another thing I recommend, check out apartments.com. I personally like their platform. I think it's very easy to use. You can, map out an entire area. Put in how many bedrooms, bathrooms. Do you want an apartment? Do you want a condo? Do you want a house? What's your price range? How much you're looking to spend monthly? What type of amenities? So apartments.com is going to be a very good kind of starting point for you if you're looking for apartments or rooms to rent in the Charlotte area. I personally do not work with apartments or rentals and things like that. I strictly focus on helping buyers and sellers in the Charlotte and the surrounding areas. You're very welcome. I hope it helps. People are surprised, but it's right there. If you got a Facebook, you're on Facebook scrolling at all types of stuff. You can find just about a group for anything on there nowadays. So I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you asking the question, and I appreciate you liking the video and maybe subscribing if you haven't already. I really would appreciate it. So as I mentioned, Vanita from New York, she had a very good question. She said, Hi, Sasha, just curious, can you live around South End without a car? Also, is there another area similar, quote unquote, I'm not big on nightlife, I'll be moving from another state? And I actually spoke with Vanita. So South End is probably one of the most friendly areas in regards to walkability and in regards to using the light rail. You have so much to do out there, office-wise, nighttime wise, restaurants, your sporting events. Like I mentioned, you have the light rail right there, so you go straight to Uptown for your sporting events. So South End is probably definitely in the top 3, if not number 1 place that you can potentially live in without a car, other than Uptown, and depending on where in Uptown you're living at. A couple other places I recommend, depending on what you're looking for: Plaza Midwood and Noda, which is our kind of art district areas. Really cool areas, ton of stuff to do. The light rail does go out to the Noda area, but it doesn't go to the Plaza Midwood area. But if you need to, you can Uber around that entire area. But both of them are extremely walkable, a ton of stuff to do, a ton of restaurants. There's parks, and a lot of things are happening there. Another area is South Park. South Park is also a really nice area. I love it. It's a little bit on the higher end. You got high-end shopping, high-end restaurants, and things like that. So if that's something that you're kind of looking for, I definitely recommend South Park as well. And also, I don't know why I'm stuttering. Also, in regards to walkability, Dilworth, Myers Park, Elizabeth, areas like that, you have a decent amount of walkability, but not as much as South End, Uptown, Plaza Midwood, and Noda. I would say those 4 are probably going to be the most walkable, like essentially in all of Charlotte, if you're looking for like a ton of stuff to do. And when I say walkable, I truly mean walkable. I'm not there's neighborhoods where you can walk for, 15, 20 minutes and get to a bunch of places. But when I say walkable, I mean, 5, 10 minutes walking distance to kind of everything you need. And trust me, it gets hot here. July, August, when it's, 95 degrees and the humidity's kicking, you're not going to want to walk, 15, 20 minutes somewhere. You're going to be want to, 5, 10 minutes, maybe max. So Veneta, my top 4 areas for walkability: South End, Uptown, Plaza Midwood, and Noda. As I mentioned, there are others, but I think those 4 are going to be the most walkable. Guys, if you're watching this live, do me a favor, hit the like button, and please give me some questions. Any questions you have whatsoever. I'm here, doing this live to help you in any way that I can. I just want to be here to help you, learn about Charlotte, whatever you need about the real estate market, whatever the case is. So Leo commented on that area tours video. He said, LOL, I've seen that house in Mora. They're renovating a lot of houses here. Do you think the second floor for that Plaza Midwood home was added on later? So I answered that question, but in regards to the Mora neighborhood, this is a newer area that's popping up. So 2 of the kind of bigger areas that we have that are kind of, up and coming or popping up are going to be Loso, which is lower South End. So very close to South End, kind of where OMB Brewery is, Queen City Social. They have a couple really cool places out there that I like to go to. Heads up, Oktoberfest is coming, and OMB Brewery is like a German-based brewery, and its outside garden is absolutely massive. A ton of people go there. If you have kids, that's totally fine. It's extremely kid-friendly. If you have dogs, it's extremely dog-friendly. So Loso is one of those new up-and-coming areas. And then the other one, like I mentioned in the video, is Mora, which is Monroe Road and North Sharon Amity. Great area. I live about 5 minutes kind of from over there. And as soon as they put up that new brewery, Edge City Brewery, which is pretty cool, this area kind of came to be. So in that area, there's doing a lot of renovating, very mature, no really cookie cutter houses. A lot of the houses are like brick houses. You have split levels, you have 2 stories, you have single stories. They range anywhere from 3 to 4 bedrooms mostly. There's a couple houses in there that are 5 bedrooms, but it's a really cool area, which is still, based off what's going on today, I mean, it's still relatively affordable. If you're looking for a 4-bedroom, it's about $500,000, and they're renovated too. But like I said, their house is built in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Some of them are built in the 90s. So anywhere from 60s to 90s are most of the houses are built. So for some people, that's not their cup of tea. They're looking for something newer. I personally love those houses that are built there. They have a ton of character. New construction is new construction. What's not to like about it? If something was built in 2020, everything is 2020, and there's a very good chance that you're not going to have to worry about any major problems or any of the major systems in the near future. I personally just like a little bit of the older houses, but that might be coming from when I lived in Cleveland. Our house was built in the early 1900s. I want to say like 1910 or something. So I just kind of like that vibe personally. Miguel, people are under the assumption that the housing market is going to crash. That's not the case. Looking at the home foreclosures currently are time low. Miguel, yeah, everything is literally speculation. There's not a single person in the world that knows what's going to happen. As far as a crash goes, I don't see a crash happening. This is nothing at all compared to what 2008 was. I do see the prices going down. If you keep up with my market reports, which you all should be if you're in this real estate market, I do see the prices going down 10 to 20% potentially in the next 12 to 18 months. And that's just because we need some sanity. Some of these house prices have gone through the roof. There's some neighborhoods that warrant certain prices, high prices, because the value's there. The bedrooms, the square footage, the location, the schools, all that stuff is there. Proximity to other things, but there's a good amount of areas in and around Charlotte where the prices just don't warrant it. Some of it doesn't make sense, and that's where I see those 10 to 20% price decreases coming in. Now the rates are suspected to go up. They should be going up again. So I think those prices will go down again. But as far as a crash, whatever your definition of a crash is, there's people saying 50% or something like that. I don't think so at all. There's certainly places in the United States that will see that. I just don't think Charlotte's one of them. As far as people moving here and things like that, I don't know. I know from my personal experience, it hasn't slowed down. Almost every single person that I'm working with is somebody relocating here. And then obviously my clients that I helped 3, 4, 5 years ago that were looking to sell their house and looking to upgrade, I'm helping them and they're staying in the Charlotte area. One thing that I'm most happy about with that is a lot of the past people that I helped, find an area that meets their needs. They're wanting to sell and upgrade and stay within that same area. So that is a huge, huge deal for me because I get to take that feedback from them, what they like about the neighborhood, what they don't. And when somebody sells their house and moves in the same neighborhood or moves within whatever, 5-10 minutes of that area, it tells you a lot about that area in the best way possible. In absolutely the best way possible. So I take that feedback, I bring it to you guys on this live video where I'm open to, any questions you have. But I bring anybody that works with me, that's what I bring too. If somebody wants to know about an area where I helped somebody, I don't have a problem calling with, one of my past clients because I keep in touch with them. I don't have a problem with reaching out to them and saying, hey, this is who I'm working with. They're from XYZ. They're, do you mind if I ask you, how do you like the school so far? Any good feedback, bad feedback, whatever the case is, all that stuff is just kind of tools that I want to use to help as many people as I possibly can. So again, ask away. I see we got 10 people on here, guys. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Every single first Thursday of the month, we're going to be doing these lives. 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I have an Instagram, QCHomeGroup. Go follow me on there. I'm going to be posting a lot of mini stuff. So just some little quirks and things like that. Stuff that's not, a 10, 15, 20-minute video. So check that out. When you're looking at the map of Charlotte, when you're looking at the 485 loop, a lot of it can seem a little daunting and you might be looking at the north side, for example, maybe in the Huntersville area or that 28269 zip code, which borders 485. And when you're looking at it on the map, it can seem far away, but the airport's very close to 485. So you just hop on the loop, even though you're on a complete opposite side, it could potentially only take you 20 to 30 minute drive to get to the airport. So, what's your definition of close? You can get extremely close where you got some neighborhoods where the airplanes are flying right over the neighborhood. And then you got others that are, a little bit further away. But Belmont and Mount Holly seem to be very nice for kind of airport. They have a lot of charm. The prices, I'm not going to say they're cheap, but they're relatively good. In Belmont, there's a ton of growth happening. In Mount Holly as well. So there's, those are two areas I can kind of mention that are a little bit, close to there. And there's some nice neighborhoods on the west side of Charlotte that are on that airport side. Perler Joseph, hello, Sasha. What's the difference between North Charlotte and South Charlotte? Very good question. So I personally live in South Charlotte. So when you're looking at it on the map, I'm right on the border of Matthews. My neighborhood, essentially, I don't know the exact percentage, but essentially it's like 50-50. Half the homes are located in Matthews, half the homes are located in Charlotte. So South Charlotte is a very well-established area. It was popular 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and it's popular today. North Charlotte, depending on where you are, a lot closer to Uptown as far as North Charlotte. There's a lot of industrial spaces and things like that. So you have some housing that's not the best. You have areas kind of where the railroad tracks are and things like that. And if you're talking about North Charlotte a little bit further out, for example, the 28269 zip code, which I think is a good zip code. I think the prices are very well over there for what you get, and there's a lot of growth going on over there. Essentially, just to kind of put it to you short, some of the most, if not the most, kind of prestigious, most expensive neighborhoods are going to be located in the south of Charlotte. That's not to say you don't have that in North, because you definitely do. But North Charlotte's going to be relatively a little bit more affordable, and the houses are going to be newer. Most of them in North Charlotte are going to be, I'd say, closer to 1990 and up, as opposed to South Charlotte, where you have houses built in the early 1900s. Most of them, though, are going to be 1940, 1950 plus, and a lot of them will have been remodeled. You have your historic neighborhoods and things like that. And then if you go even more north of Charlotte, that's where you're going to hit Huntersville, Davidson, Cornelius, and those areas are great. I mean, there's really nothing, in my opinion, bad about those areas. Those areas are great. You have some really good real estate. The new bypass is a breeze for commuting. Nowadays, you have the lake that's super close by. And as opposed to South Charlotte, it's very relatively affordable. For example, if you take a $600,000 house in South Charlotte and take that same price range, you go to North Charlotte, you go to Huntersville, I'm not going to say you'll get double the house, but you'll get, potentially you'll get a good amount of more yard space. You'll get a newer home. And the home will probably be, roughly 500 to 1,000 square feet bigger. And you're looking at the same price point, and you'll get more bang for your buck in North versus South. As I mentioned, I live in South Charlotte. I love it. And that's where I plan on staying. I have my little, kind of bubble that I personally have mapped out that I love. And even when I have kids, I'm still going to stay in that area because I like the schools. If I end up having like 5 kids or something like that, like my wife wants, I'll probably end up moving to like Waxhaw or something like that, and have a house up there. But great question. I appreciate it. That was a little bit of a tangent, but that's what I'm known for. um, let's see. RJ Spain, do you ever get inquiries for homes with elevators? I used to see listings for them, not much lately. To be honest, no. I've seen a couple houses that have elevators and things like that are like 3 stories. Some of them are 4 stories. You don't see it too much. Honestly, I personally don't see a use for a home having an elevator unless the square footage is like absolutely massive or something like that. But you see a couple of them here and there. I've never worked with somebody that said, "Hey, I want an elevator in my house because of XYZ." I could see it definitely being a benefit if you're, if obviously it's a big house. So if you have a big family, if you have somebody that, needs wheelchair access and things like that, that would probably be the biggest plus of having an elevator. Because yeah, some of these houses, finding a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot ranch, obviously you can, but it's more than likely if you're looking at 4,000 to 5,000 square feet house, it's going to be 2 or 3 stories depending on the lot size. And in that case, if you have somebody that needs an elevator or something like that, it can be very useful. But I've personally never, had somebody inquire about, definitely wanting one for whatever the reason is. Miguel, Sasha, what's your feedback as of today's market on Chadwick Park, downtown Pineville? Where do you see Pineville heading in the next 5 to 8 years? I like Pineville. For some reason, I've heard people give kind of mixed reviews on Pineville. It has some areas. There's some areas in Pineville, some neighborhoods and things like that I've seen where some people don't take care of their houses as they should. But as far as location goes, you got a lot there. You're super close to 485. Your commute to Uptown is relatively quick. And it has kind of that kind of historic kind of feel. Downtown Pineville, they're starting to build up. I think I saw a new restaurant that's open out there. And when I drove by, I want to say it was, I don't know, maybe about a month ago or a couple weeks ago, when I drove by, it was very active. And it was just like, it was like a Wednesday or Thursday afternoon, maybe around lunch hour. And there was a bunch of people outside sitting and things like that. So I think Pineville is going to be a good place where we're going to see some growth. I think it's going to continue to get better, honestly. I really do. And it's still, even right now, it's still relatively affordable. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, I see Pineville in a pretty good position right now. Just some of those neighborhoods, as I mentioned, that are over there. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's even some that are kind of right off Johnston Road where Ballantyne is, that are down Johnston Road where the LA Fitness is. There's some neighborhoods over there that are very mixed. Like one neighborhood, super nice houses, 500, 600, some even like close to $700,000 price range. And then you go like, 2 minutes down the road and you enter a different neighborhood. And then you got all these houses that were built in the 80s and 90s that really aren't that nice. So it's interesting. I definitely think they're going to get kind of fixed up. Like I said, there's value over there. So if you're somebody that's, within a certain budget or something like that, you can move into one of those houses. As you live in it, you can fix the flooring. As you live in it, you can do the kitchen. You can do all that stuff. Essentially, Miguel, I think Pineville in the next 5 to 8 years is going to be pretty good. And especially the way South Carolina is getting kind of built up too, I can see a lot of people potentially working in South Carolina and possibly living in Pineville, because you hop on 485. You can get to South Carolina literally like 15 minutes from the Pineville exit. You also have Atrium Health, Pineville over there. So a lot of people in the healthcare industry that want to live close to and things like that, they're going to be over there in the Pineville area because it's just extremely close to their work. Better to build in Concord or Indian Trail? Joseph, that just depends on the location, my friend. Indian Trail, depending on where you are, you can be a little bit further out, depending on how much land you have. And same thing with Concord. Concord is absolutely huge. I really do like Concord. And it depends on what you're into. I think Concord's going to have a lot of growth. I don't know if it's still true, but I heard Red Bull was supposed to be building not a I don't know, some type of plant. I think Red Bull invested like a ton of money in the Concord area, or might be the Concord Kannapolis area. So I think that's going to bring a lot of jobs. With that, I think it's going to bring a lot more growth. But you can see if you're in Concord, if you're by Concord Mills Mall, all that land over there that was nothing, 4 or 5 years ago, it's all apartment complexes now. And they're starting to build their new builds. So honestly, it just depends on, kind of where. Concord and Indian Trail are going to see a lot of growth. They already have, and they are. But Concord is, it's huge. You can, depending on where you are in Concord, you can be in like the boonies, where you have like nobody around or you don't have a neighbor for a mile. I personally like to be around, stuff. So if I was looking at Concord, I'd probably be looking a little bit closer to where the mall is, because there's some neighborhoods that you feel like you're so far away, but if you're within a 10-minute drive to the Concord Mills area, there is literally everything over there. Everything. You don't have to go to the mall. Leading up to the mall, there's hundreds of restaurants. There's so much to do. They even have that simulated skydiving over there. There's just so much to do over there. So I definitely like that area. You can't go wrong with both. Both are going to see a lot of growth. Both are just outside of Charlotte, which everything is spreading towards outside of Charlotte as the Charlotte area gets more condensed. Miguel, Sasha, thanks for your hard and honest work. I wish you always the best. When my wife is ready to buy, we'll be contacting you. Thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate it. I haven't forgotten about you, man. We're gonna have to get a cigar or a beer or something like that pretty soon. If I'm not mistaken, I think there might be like a cigar place in Pineville. I just right now sitting outside, you know how hot it is over here, man. I can't sit outside and smoke a cigar when it's 80, 90 degrees. But we'll do it, man. We're heading into the colder months or whatever. As soon as it dips down in the beautiful 70s, you have my number, man. We've spoken a couple times. We'll put something in the books. We'll get a okay, bourbon and cigar. We'll go to bourbon and cigar, man. I'll meet you over there, and we'll just chat a little bit. And Miguel, I don't think this is your first winter, but because I think you moved here from Florida. Yeah, Miguel. Yes, it's new. I live right by the brewery in downtown Pineville, Visa. Yeah, see, as soon as they put a brewery somewhere, man, the growth just goes like crazy. That's hilarious. Charlotte is all about the breweries, man. It's insane. So if you love beer, this is a place you need to be. Any other questions, guys? Feel free. I'm telling you, like anything that you can think of, kind of within bounds, I guess. I guess you can say. Yeah, no, Miguel said no. Second winter, we moved from Tampa. Yeah, I know you're. I forgot where in Florida, but I knew somewhere in Florida. So sometimes it's interesting when it's easy when somebody's moving, from the Midwest or up north or something like that, where you have crazy winters. Because when they come down here, it's literally night and day. It's literally night and day. But when you're coming from a place like Florida, where it's like it's known for great weather, or you're coming from somewhere like California where it's known for weather, then it's like, Charlotte does not have better weather than California. It's just, we just don't. We have all the seasons and I absolutely love it. But anytime somebody moves from Florida, I kind of get like nervous. I'm like, oh man, how are they going to adjust to it? Are they going to think it's too cold? They don't even own winter jackets. You really don't need one here. I personally just wear like a light jacket, like made of wool or something like that. But you don't need like a full on ski jacket. So it's always interesting seeing the people from Florida and things like that move here. So far, it's been good. I've helped a pretty decent amount of families. And what's surprising, the people that call me from Florida, they're in like nice areas. Like Miguel, you moved here from Tampa. I've worked with people from Fort Myers, Hollywood, Miami, in Orlando, and in Clearwater, which I heard Clearwater is beautiful. But I'm always curious, when people like that call me, I'm like, man, why, I go vacation in Florida, I love Florida. So I always just get curious, like, hey, why are you moving here? Like, I thought, and a lot of the stuff is right now, things have been expensive. I heard the traffic's very bad and things like that. But I personally think Florida is great. I personally will not be moving anywhere anytime soon. I plan on staying in the Charlotte area for a very, very long time. Maybe when I retire, and I want, 80 plus degree weather year round and I start golfing or something like that, I might head to Florida. But I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon at all. At all. Any other questions, guys? Anything at all that you possibly have, just let me know and I will answer it. It is 7:05 now. Let's see, Miguel. This is what I like. Okay. Okay. Miguel, I don't regret the move at all. We enjoy it very much here. Yes, Clearwater has great beaches. Single and party equals Florida. Work and family oriented equals NC. I like that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, maybe that's why I like Florida because I used to go there with all my friends when I was younger. So that's actually funny you said that, but that's awesome. That's good feedback. That's good feedback. T's focus. Florida's expensive. Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear Florida's very expensive. One of the couples that I helped move here from Fort Myers, they were like they had no idea how expensive things have gotten over there because I think they were like in the $700,000 to $800,000 price range, and they were like the stuff they were seeing was just not up to par. If you're spending $700,000 to $800,000 on a house, you want it to look like a $700,000 to $800,000 house. You want to come, you're busting your ass to be able to buy something in that price range. So you want to come home to something like that. You don't want to come home to a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, not renovated home and things like that. And they said that's a problem they were running into over there. I don't know too much about Fort Myers, but I guess the areas that they were looking at were like crazy expensive, crazy expensive. Miguel, the issue in Florida is not only the housing, the issue is the salary sucks. Yeah, I'm so, that's surprising. I think it'd be a little bit more, I think the salary would be kind of normal, but now that a lot of people are working remote, they're able to, keep the salary they're getting, for example, in California and move to Florida. And that's why some of the house prices went up there, shot up because people were, they were coming to a cheaper cost of living, still able to keep their other job that paid a lot higher than a job in Florida would. Um, ancient scallion. Yeah, ancient scallion. I remember, man. You had just left me a comment recently. I like your car, man. I'm a car guy as well. Sasha, I'm a new subscriber here. I'm glad I found your channel. What do you think about Lake Wylie, Clover, South Carolina area? Lake Wylie is awesome. Lake Wylie is awesome. Tega Cay, I like the Tega Cay area. So Clover is very big. I like the part in Clover that is more condensed. I personally do, just because I want to be around stuff. But there's a good section of Clover where it feels like you're in a more rural area. So just kind of depends on what you're looking for. I do like Lake Wylie. I do like it, especially if you're somebody that wants to take advantage of the lake. If you're somebody that intends on buying a kayak, a jet ski, maybe a boat in the next whatever 5-10 years, and you want to take advantage of it, and you're just into water sports and things like that, definitely Lake Wylie, Clover area. Like I said, depending on where you are in Clover, Tega Cay I like. It's a really cool area. Tega Cay is. T's focus. Do you think the median home prices will drop back to the low 300s? I think we're going to see roughly 10 to 20% price decrease in the next 12 to 18 months, depending on what these interest rates do. Right now, I talked to a lot of people that have been in the industry a lot longer than I have, that are a lot smarter than I am, and I communicate with them, I listen to them, and then I form my own opinion based off what I'm personally doing here. And things can go both ways. The interest rates can keep going up, which is going to cause the prices to potentially, go back down to the low threes. I personally think that the median price point, more realistically should be around 325,000, which would be in the low threes. Now, if the rates keep going up, it's possible that it does happen. But guys, there is a potential, I don't know what percentage of a potential, that right now what's happening could be maybe a small blip. We might see the market, decreasing, getting better for buyers, maybe for the next year and a half. And then if the Federal Reserve wants, they drop the rates back down to the low fours, and the real estate market booms again. So it's possible that we might have good opportunities for the next year and a half. And if the rates go down again, it's possible that the market picks back up. Or it's possible the rates go a little bit higher, stay higher for the next 2 years, possibly even 3 years. So, so the government can accumulate all that money that they printed, so they can get, out of all this debt, out of all this madness. And in that case, the prices are going to keep decreasing. 12, 18 months, I think 10, 20% price decrease. In my opinion, I think the median price point should be in the 325 range. If it's going to happen, if I knew, my friend, I'd be the next Warren Buffett. But I don't, but I hope that someone helps you. Obviously, if you're subscribed to the channel, you see the market reports. So keep watching the market reports, because there's a trend line. I do not see anything going straight down. It's going to be slow and steady. It's going to be slow and steady, and you're going to know. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, there's going to be opportunities. There is opportunities. There's houses right now that are sitting on the market, or have been sitting on the market for 50 days, 100 days, that if you wrote an offer and the seller is motivated for 50K less, for 75K less, for 100,000 less. It's possible that it could be accepted. So it's out there. You just got to be in the market. You got to have your ducks in a row. Obviously, if you're comfortable in buying, if you're comfortable with the current rate, if you're comfortable with the monthly payment, that's what you need to go after. Block out. There's a lot of noise out there. It's so much doom and gloom. At the end of the day, do what's best for you. Do what's best for yourself. What's best for your family. What's best for your future. If you know the people that are flipping houses or want to buy something now and live in it for 1 to 3 years, don't buy a house right now if that's your plan. I tell everybody at a minimum, keep your house for 5 years. If you're gonna keep it for 10 years, you're fine. You're fine, depending on where you buy. But if you're buying in the Charlotte surrounding areas, I think you're going to be very well off. I'm building my real estate portfolio now, and obviously, if you're subscribed to the channel, you're going to follow me through this journey. And I have these market reports from all these past years. In 10 years, maybe I'll still be on YouTube, maybe I'll be on one of these other platforms, but in 10 years, we'll go back. You know, whether you bought that house at 400, at 500, isn't really going to matter when the house is worth 900 or a million. And it's been your primary residence for 2 out of the last 5 years, and you're able to put $400,000 or $500,000 in your pocket. You're able to move wherever you want. Go move to Costa Rica and just retire for the rest of your life. You know, it's a lot of money, a lot of money. Sarah, how much in advance do you recommend you start looking for a home before you're ready to actually move? It depends on your timeline. So from acceptance of your offer, usually closing takes about 30 days. If you have a good lender, which if you need a lender, let me know. I have some great recommendations. I had one of my lenders literally just rescue somebody's loan and closed it in 8 days, which is absolutely unheard of. So it just depends. It depends on your current situation. You know, when your lease is up and things like that. I probably recommend give yourself about 2 months to look for a house. You know, that gives you at least a solid 4 weeks to look at, you know, a good amount of houses, to get a good idea, to compare and contrast, to see what your money gets you in different areas. And then putting in that offer, getting that offer accepted, and then you get your keys in 30 days. Can you do a video, Pearl or Joseph? Can you do a video on what's the difference between Raleigh, Charlotte, Chapel Hill, Durham, Winston-Salem? I can, but to be honest with you, it's not gonna be very accurate. The thing about me and my videos is I'm talking about what I do on the daily, the people I work with on the daily, the areas that I know about and that I'm in daily. Raleigh, Chapel Hill, my brother lived in those areas for years. He went to school there. Durham, Winston-Salem. I know people in those areas, but it's not the same. And if I go online and I look at the stats, the stats aren't up to date. I look at the stats, I deal with the stats daily, so I'm able to give you guys the most accurate information possible. Even right now, if you go online, type in Charlotte median home price, there's going to be some articles that are going to say 300 when it's not, it's 400. So it's outdated. And I don't want to make a video based off of stats because it could be misleading. You know, I can talk about Charlotte, I can talk about the surrounding areas, I can talk about Huntersville, I can talk about Waxhaw, because I know what's going on there day to day, and day to day things are changing. So that's how I could make a video, but to be short, I don't want to. There's a ton of people that make videos about places that they've never even visited. They just make a video on the stats. What you see in stats is a lot different when you're living your day-to-day life there. You know, I moved here, you guys know by now, I moved here from Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio has a horrible rap, you know, for being like a garbage city or whatever the case is. Truth is, I loved it. I love it. I still do. Would I ever move back? Absolutely not, because I love Charlotte. I love the weather. I just love where the trajectory it's heading to. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to raise my potential family in the future, and things like that. But, when you're just doing stuff based off the stats, it's not as accurate, and it's not the same, I've been on here for 50 minutes now just rambling. If you ask me a question about Raleigh or something, I can look up a couple of stats, but I can't ramble. I can't tell you what day-to-day life is there, and that's what I want out of this channel. Perler Joseph, what are the best areas to rent in Charlotte below 1700? So as mentioned, I don't work with rentals too much. I know rental prices in some areas just because I've worked with some investors that buy houses and rent them out. What are you looking for? If you're looking for a one bedroom, there's a ton of great apartments almost anywhere, even uptown or south end that you can get for 1700. If you're looking for a single family home, it's going to be very hard to do. You're probably going to be looking at West or East Charlotte at $1,700 for a single family home. That's like a 3-2. Again, I don't specialize in rentals. That's just my assumption because a lot of the rentals that are in North and South Charlotte for like a 3-2, they're going to be 1,900 minimum, possibly even 2,000 plus for something very minimal. T's Focus, Waxhaw is a very nice area, but it's far from uptown. Yeah, that's true. It is. But then again, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're somebody that's going to be spending a lot of time in uptown, if you're going to be commuting there, Waxhaw is not the place for you because it's a long commute. You're looking at 45 minutes of drive time and things like that. But I'm telling you guys, you'll find once you move to an area, if you move to Waxhaw, for example, you'll have everything you need there. Waxhaw has a little nice downtown area. There's a bunch of restaurants and coffee shops and things like that. And then Waxhaw has some other high-end areas that have their kind of like higher-end shopping places. Waxhaw is, not far from kind of Charlotte, the Ballantyne area and things like that. So obviously, if you're going to be, going to Uptown a lot, you don't want to be looking at a house in Waxhaw just because of the commute time. So there's other areas that can suit you more. But if you have a family and things like that, you're looking for really good schools, and you go to Uptown to catch a Panthers game twice a year. A 45-minute commute is nothing. I drive all day, every day, so for me, I could easily do it. Once I have a family, Waxhaw will definitely be in the cards. It's a really nice area. Everybody that I help move to Waxhaw, Marvin, Weddington, Wesley Chapel, no complaints. No complaints. They like it. They like the people there. They like the houses. They like the neighborhood. They like everything over there. So no complaints. So obviously I take that feedback. But the only reason I say I wouldn't live there without kids is because all the houses there are pretty big. They're all, pretty big houses. So if I move to Waxhaw, I'm buying 4, maybe even minimum 5-bedroom house over there. And like I said, I need to have like 3-4 kids before I do that. Perler Joseph, I currently live in Florida, planning to move sometime next year, so looking for a 1-2-bedroom apartment or townhouse. If you're looking for a 1-bedroom, Joseph, you can probably move almost anywhere if you're up to that like 1,800 price point. If you're okay with like a studio, then you can kind of be in like the South End uptown areas. Again, my friend, apartments.com. Circle all the areas that you want, whatever the case is, put the price in there and just check. But at that price point for a 2-bedroom, you're going to be closer to 2,000 plus. But if you're looking at about 1,800 or so, you shouldn't have a problem, renting in a pretty nice area for a 1-bedroom. Bring on any more questions, guys. If you haven't done so, do me a favor, just hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. Again, we're going to be doing these lives every Thursday, every first Thursday of the month. So happy September. And again, I'm going to condense this video and not going to have any, small moments. Everything's going to be kind of condensed. So it'll be question after question. So you can rewatch it and things like that and share it with anybody that you might know that, needs the information or is looking to move to the area. But any other questions you guys have, let me know. Interestingly enough, Bank of America just came out with a program for first-time home buyers where they're offering no money down. What is it? It's some crazy program, and only like 4 states are participating, are allowed to have it. Charlotte, because we're home to Bank of America. So Charlotte, I believe Georgia, Yep, here we go. Okay, so it's not okay. So, Bank of America to offer zero down payment mortgages in certain Black and Hispanic communities, and this article came out today. So, because the median price point in Charlotte is $400,000, that's not affordable. That's not affordable. So, Bank of America just came out with this program today, and Charlotte is one of the cities that's partaking in this. So I don't know. A lot of these programs, a lot of these down payment assistance programs, you need to read the fine print because not everything is what it seems. So let's just put it that way. But that's one of the programs they have out there. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting program. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. We'll see who uses it and everything like that. I'm very curious. All right, guys, I really appreciate it. I don't see any more questions rolling in right now. I see some spammers kind of rolling in the comment section, and we don't want that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Well, there's one more question. Perler Joseph, is Charlotte a great city with lots of activities like food, shopping, outdoor activities? Florida is so flat, looking for a city. 100% yes. South Park is amazing for shopping. We have in it I think we have 4 malls all kind of spread out through Charlotte, but it has a lot to do. Go on Google, type in things to do in Charlotte this weekend, and it'll show you all the concerts, all the games, everything that we have going on in Charlotte, and that's just kind of a sneak peek. Again, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching. Call, text, or email me with any questions or if there's anything I can do for if you want to talk to me personally. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll catch you on the next one, okay? Take care. Bye.